Today as co-founder and CEO to help them on that journey. One of the main motivations for UltraRAM was the digital energy crisis. SoCs and the chip industry has been scaling down with Moore's law for many years. But the memory devices have sort of hit a plateau now at about 10 nanometers. And there's all sorts of other issues to do with power consumption and efficiency. So coupled with that and the green agenda of the world today, we also looked with motivation to develop a new memory technology, which is ultra-low power. We've achieved this through using compound semiconductors. We've also recently commissioned a study with BT here in the UK to look at the energy saving, say, in a data center, which actually accounts for a good percentage of a national country's energy usage. So, we figured if we can bring savings here, that this would, another part of the equation we could help solve with climate change. The market opportunity, DRAM is actually a $160 billion market opportunity. That's a massive number, and of course, that's our ultimate goal, but we're looking, even if we can take 1 or 10% of that with a significant business. This slide actually shows a bit about the memory hierarchy. You're probably used to memories. We have our flash memories and DRAM memories used in computing. We're actually striving to be what's called a universal memory. That's a memory that has all the attributes of flash, which you use to store your documents and your data on portable devices, and also DRAM, which is the working memory used in many computers. So another one of our missions besides saving energy is to be a universal memory, and at the same time offering superior performance to the current incumbent. We do that by using, as I mentioned earlier, the compound semiconductor family, the 6.1 angstrom family, rather than silicon. We do build on a silicon wafer, but above that, the materials are different. They're compound materials. What else is unique about our product is we use a quantum technology. It's called resonant tunneling. And in a traditional memory, they'll use a capacitor, which takes up room on the chip. And also it uses more energy than our technology. So that's another unique difference we have. So we've got patents approved and filed and granted in this area. And this is, beside using compound semiconductors, one of our big USPs. This slide tells you a little bit about our metrics for performance, our electrical performance. And as you can see, we have the attributes of both a flash drive and a DRAM chip. And combining these together, we believe we have a universal memory. The key metrics people measure are things like power consumption, speed, which is, of course, critical, and also things like endurance, how long the memory can retain the 1 or 0. So as you can see, we have quite an impressive lineup of figures there. The product's technology status, if you know the TRL scale, it was, I think, invented by NASA. We're at about 4 to 5 at the moment. We've demonstrated many devices over the last 5 years in the labs at Lancaster. We do that on a 4-inch wafer. We're currently trying to scale that up into arrays and, well, actually from devices to arrays. So that's one of our next steps. We're also looking out globally. We've already signed contracts in Australia to look at high reliability testing for military rad-hard applications. And coupled to that, we're also now working with one of the IIT institutes in India, who are world leaders, best in class in modeling and simulation. It's actually TCAD, which is similar to the last presentation, but we're actually looking from a different perspective here for memories. We've also got further collaborations pending with the ETH Zurich to look at some system modeling, and another one which is confidential at this time. As I mentioned earlier, we've already got some patents granted, we've got patents pending, and we're also working on compound semiconductor logic, which is another breakthrough area, which is something which I can tell you about later. Some of the target applications, as I mentioned earlier at the beginning, data centers is a big one. IoT and edge computing, we're talking to Facebook Meta in the US for their next generation AR/VR glasses. We're also open dialogues with people like NVIDIA, so these are possible early adopter customers. On space and defense, we're talking to, at the moment, mainly US partners like DARPA, and NASA in the US, and potentially some here in the UK. Another application we're looking at on the sidelines is quantum computing, and that's actually to put our memories in the cryostat alongside the quantum computer. As I mentioned earlier, we're only at device or cell level at the moment. We're trying to scale up to make a working memory chip. This is an area where we're looking for partners, possibly Taiwan. It is a very strong candidate here. At the moment, right now we're looking at 4f squared or 6f squared, if you understand that type of geometry. So in summary, this is where we're going right now. Ultimately, we're looking for partnerships in prototyping. I was out in Taiwan last week on the UK trade mission, and we had some excellent meetings there with the Taiwanese ecosystem, which is very amazing, and recommend anyone, if they get the chance, to go out to Taiwan and explore. Bit about our business model. As I mentioned, we've been going about 4 or 5 years. We've had about £2 million worth of grants in that period. We just also proudly received the Innovate UK iCure Award, which was another £300,000, which we just started this week. Our roadmap looks like this. Moving forward, we're looking to raise a £4 million seed round, probably here in the UK, maybe some foreign syndicated partners as well. Further on the timeline, we're looking at doing an embedded version of our chip, looking in the IP domain, and also looking at things like chiplets and heterogeneous integration as we go along on our journey. So that's it. Thank you all very much for listening, and pleased to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
This is your opportunity to ask questions. I think the question I want to know is what have been the roadblocks for on the journey towards commercialization? What's been holding you back?
Great question. Like all these things, it's access to finance, which we've done pretty well in grants, but now we need real money to scale up. So I've already been looking in the US. I think pre-seed is probably okay here in London. We can raise 4 million reasonably easy, but the follow-on stages are going to be more challenging, and that's where we'll need some international partners. The other big concern is talent here in the UK. We don't really have specialist memory type design engineers. This is another reason I was out in Taiwan looking at potential partners. There's an Innovate UK grant on Horizon, which we hope to participate in. So in summary, the two big challenges are really access to finance and talent.
Money and people.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Yes, please.
Yeah, hi. So I don't know to introduce again. So it is pretty interesting one. Basically, you said, right, this is I thought like when you started the discussion, it's definitely targeting for quantum computing, isn't it?
We're not a quantum computer, no. We use quantum physics to do a resonant tunneling, which is moving atoms around to make a switch, effectively, to switch the memory from 0 to 1. But it's not qubits, it's not a quantum computer, no.
Okay, but the application slide, when I look at that, so you mentioned that...
Oh, yes, yeah. That's apparently, we're looking at putting our memory in a cryostat, so it can operate at extremely low temperatures alongside a quantum computer. But this is a very niche application, and it's more research, to be honest, right now.
Okay, so do you have any like the classical example for the usages in IoT as well as the edge computing? Because edge computing is not in market recently, so still in R&D. So
Yes.
so what do you think about like how it will be helpful for IoT as well as edge computing?
What was the question, sorry, how?
So the classical example for like the use cases probably. So what are the use cases for IoT and what is that? The next one, edge computing. So
Okay. Well, the main thing we're looking at right now is working with Meta, Facebook on their next generation AR, VR glasses. So I can't say really, we're under strict NDAs on a lot of that, but it's actually to bring small low power memories, high density memories to that type of application. And then for edge computing, it's for AI applications really, so edge computing.
Thank you, Shantababu. I'm just going to ask this gentleman here.
Hi, just a question on the business model.
Yes.
Do you see your company more like a licensing entity and fabless, or are you going to take the development a little bit further?
Yes.
And be a little bit capex intensive?
Yeah, good question. Initially, we're only able to make the die, so we'll be looking at standalone memory chips. And then the next step will probably be chip bonding, so bonding that onto other wafers, processors, and then alongside that chiplets, heterogeneous integration. So that's our current roadmap. We're also, as I mentioned, looking at compound logic, and a longer term goal is to embed, which is a lot more challenging. So the IP model, I think, will come really more when we embed. So so we haven't quite worked on the exact strategy for that, but there's several ways we can go.
And an extension of that,
Yeah.
is there a way around Taiwan when it comes to the next steps?
Is there a way, did you say?
A way around Taiwan, like collaborating with Taiwan in terms of when you go to mass market and manufacturing, or IP licensing for that matter. So is this still where the action happens in your field?
Yeah, but Taiwan is really unique in the world. You know, they've excelled in many areas, and of course, TSMC's based there. So I think the ecosystem is very strong there, from R&D all the way through to manufacturing. So, you know, I can find very good engineers in India, which we're using to do modeling. But of course, there's no manufacturing there. Circuit design is questionable. So I think Taiwan has everything really that we're looking for right now. So it's a very strong candidate, unless we go to the US. Yeah, I think we're looking at all the options. We're talking to Albany Nanotech in New York as a possible prototyping house, Leti, IMEC, for these stages. But in parallel, we're also looking at in-memory computing. So that's another exciting area where we're looking for R&D capability.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Remy. And I think that brings us up to time, so please thank my guest here, James Ashforth-Pook. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
All right, hello everybody, thank you for coming. So I've come here today to talk to you, give you a bit of information about the company which I'm a co-founder of, KuasaSemi. So KuasaSemi is a software company. We're focusing on developing TCAD tools for semiconductor device design. We're specifically looking at supporting wide bandgap devices, such as silicon carbide and gallium nitride, as these are going to be a key tool in driving the green revolution and meeting net zero targets. So I mentioned that we develop TCAD software. Some of you may not know what that is. So TCAD stands for Technology Computer Aided Design, and it's a specialist type of software which is used when designing semiconductor devices. It's used to simulate and model semiconductor device performance, which allows engineers to optimize devices and also understand them more deeply. You can design new devices using this tool from scratch, or you can also reverse engineer devices, as you can see on the screen here. So what you can see in the black and white picture there is a silicon carbide trench MOSFET, and as it's going across the screen there, that's it being modeled using our software. So as you can see, you can define quite complex geometry using this software, which is something that's not particularly easy to do with some of our competitors. So that's one of our key benefits. The software, it has 3 different types of simulation you can run. Process simulation, so this is related to manufacturing the device. The device simulation, so this allows you to understand things like electric field, thermal properties, IV curves, etc. And then circuit simulation, so you can actually place your device in a circuit and see how it operates. So the application for this then, well, it's crucial in developing cutting-edge electronic devices like diodes and transistors that are used in the new power electronics of the future, things for electric vehicles and renewable energy generation. And the key benefit of using TCAD is that it reduces development time and costs. It allows you to iterate through designs much more quickly and therefore be confident when you go to manufacture that you'll have a design that actually works. So our product itself then, I mentioned that it's supporting wide bandgap semiconductors. These are really crucial for a number of technologies, but an example of this is in electric vehicles. These wide bandgap devices are much more efficient, therefore they can be packaged in a much smaller size. Now what this does is it improves efficiency of the car, meaning you can get more range out of the same battery, or it actually gives you space also to add in a bigger battery and increase the range even further. Our software is designed by experts, so within the team we have over 50 years of experience combined in the space of wide bandgap materials and devices, and also in the power electronic circuit applications of these devices. So we really understand the challenges of both design engineers and their customers from a whole picture perspective. In addition to wide bandgap technology, we also still fully support silicon, as this clearly has a role to play going forward in the future. So the difference then, well, we're not the only company out there that's producing TCAD software, but we do believe we are the best one out there for a number of reasons. The first one is we're building a brand new, modern, intuitive user interface. This does not require any scripting and will be much easier to learn and to pick up, so significantly reducing the time and resource required from engineers and companies to teach people how to learn this tool. It's better value for money. Now what this does is it unlocks the tool capabilities to companies which otherwise may not be able to afford such expensive products, bringing on a new set of companies into the market. And it also allows, within those big companies that already use these tools, it allows the knowledge to be more dispersed throughout the team as more people can have access to this tool. In addition to that, it's also Windows-based and it's much less computationally intense, so it can run on a laptop. So a little bit about our recent achievements. Well, we've been awarded the Innovate UK Transformative Technologies Grant for the development of this tool. And we've also recently, as of last week, been a member of the first ever UK semiconductor delegation to Taiwan. That was part of the Innovate UK Global Business Innovation Program. And we were able to make over 40 new contacts with local businesses and universities out in Taiwan. And lots of them are very keen to work with us on developing this software further. So future activities. Well, we're currently in the development stages of this tool. We're looking to have a beta release version finished by the end of this year. And that we've got some companies and university research groups lined up to test that for us. Once we've ironed out any issues in that beta release, we're looking at a full commercial release by Q1 of 2024. And we're really looking for early adopters to start using this. We're a customer-led design company, so we're looking for a lot of feedback from our customers to let us know features they like, features they dislike, and we can rapidly change that. Being a small company, we can quickly react to what the market tells us we need. So if you want to find out any more, please come and talk to me now, or okay. So yeah, thanks guys, and now I'll take any questions you may have.
Are there any actually, I've got a question before we go to anybody else, which is, it seems to have a lot of enthusiasm for your product, but what about the objections? What are people raising as a problem?
Well, I think one of the main problems is going to be the fact that it's a new product. So there's current tools out there on the market which people have been using for many years, with kind of got a trust and a reputation behind them, and also they've become accustomed to using that tool. I think the main thing is going to be the trust thing. So making sure people are confident that what they simulate is going to be backed up by reality. So what we're looking to do to mitigate that is we're going to get some devices and model devices with known parameters and compare the two so people can see how it works. I think also it's hopefully once people start using it, they'll find that it's to their liking and very accurate.
Okay. I've got a question down here. What's your name?
Hi, I'm Mike Jennings from Swans University. Thanks, David. I know David, by the way. We've met before. Yeah, great talk. Thanks for that. Have you got any plans, David, to move beyond power? It's great to see that you're doing wide bandgap power and silicon technologies. Any plans to move beyond power into other areas, or?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Yeah, we do. We're looking at power primarily as our route entry into market. This is quite a niche market that we know very well. So we think that will be a good area to get our foothold into the market. But certainly once we've become a bit more established, that's certainly something that we're going to look into. It is capable of modeling devices for other applications. So yes.
Okay. Thanks very much, Mike. Josh, I'll come to you.
Hi, sorry. So it looks great in terms of the design tools there, but it looks like you guys do this for like IC design company. Well, why do you need a Taiwanese company for? Because UK is more strong on that, right? Or am I wrong to say that?
Sorry, what was the question?
So you want the Taiwanese company,
Yeah.
yeah, to actually try your solutions there. But actually, this is a design tools for the IC design companies.
Yeah.
And then UK is stronger in that, right? And then so what do you need a Taiwanese company for? Because they are more on the other side of the value chain.
Yeah, I mean, certainly from that perspective, we're really looking for customers everywhere around the world. We were lucky enough to be part of the Innovate UK trip to Taiwan, so that's why we've been recently looking at customers out in Taiwan, but we're really looking worldwide in terms of a customer base, so yeah.
I did not expect you to be saying, what does Taiwan bring to the party here? So, David, why is now a particularly good time for this solution?
I think now's a good time for that solution because we're really starting to see a big take-up in silicon carbide and gallium nitride devices, as I mentioned, in electric vehicle power modules. And there's lots of small companies out there, as I mentioned, that perhaps can't afford the the current tools available are very expensive. And there's a lot of new companies out there, something that's been touched on in other talks, that don't have the resource to necessarily pay for those. So a more reasonably priced tool is going to be really useful for them. And as well as that, the uptake in wide bandgap materials as a whole, I think now's a really good time as we can tap into that.
Okay. Any more for any more? Otherwise, yes, I should come to you. What's your name, sorry?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. So this is Shanta Babu. As I am a principal architect from Roland. So basically, you guys are actually building the devices, right? So basically, I have some idea about because I graduated as electronics communication engineering only. Now I'm in IT. So the devices, you said, you are manufacturing transistor and devices, right? So still actually we are producing those kind of devices, or else like printed circuit boards itself without having any components. It's how it is differ from that one.
Sorry, I don't understand the question.
So you said, right, the manufacturing is your transistors, device, separate components.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have the advanced technology, we have a complete PCB board, everything is embedded itself. So we couldn't see the components on top of, the kind of layers.
Mm-hmm.
So how you are the components manufacturing these transistors, is it going back is it separate individual transistor components, or how it will be?
Yeah, so these are much larger components used for power applications, so they're still individual, manufacture individual devices rather than in a whole circuit board.
So you're manufacturing a separate, manufacturing as again it's like a transistor, so you can have the number of counts in this PCB board. You're manufacturing this piece of transistor.
Yes, just the transistor itself.
Okay, so how it is differ from the existing one transistor, PNP, and then we have an earlier one, right?
In terms of how it's manufactured?
Okay, okay. So you said so you are doing the process. You have the software called TCAD,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're using the process, different process. You process simulation, device simulation, circuit simulations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for this, actually, how you are collecting the data to do all the simulations? So you're connecting with any data for simulation point of view?
Yes. We've got new models built in to support those new materials, yeah. in terms of the processing.
Okay. So are you using any AI technology to like do the predictions?
Not at the moment, no. It's something that we'll probably look to integrate into the future, but it's not currently something that's supported.
Right. So we are into that mostly. So that's the reason I'm asking, like how we can do this
Ah, okay.
simulation effectively. Yeah.
I hate to cut you off, but we're up to time.
All right.
Please, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.